Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS, presenting to you the daily quiz for 10th of March 2022. But before we begin, here is an important announcement. BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS is conducting an online workshop where one of our IAS experts, Mukesh Jha sir, will be explaining the right strategy to read newspapers for the Civil Services examination. So if you're someone who finds it difficult to pick and choose relevant articles and want to know the right and effective way to read the newspaper, do attend this session. This session is scheduled to be held on the 13th of March, that is Sunday at 11 am. The registration is free and the link to register for this workshop will be given in the description box. Enter your details in the registration form and attend the seminar for exam strategies that could be helpful in your preparation. Now let us begin and take up the first question for today. Sarlamkai, Chheih, Cheraw are the popular dance forms of which of these states? Option A, Assam. Option B, Mizoram. Option C, Sikkim. Option D, Nagaland. Pause the video, mark your answers. And before we discuss the answer, let us discuss more about each of these dance forms. See, Sarlamkai is a dance form that originates from the Pavi and Mara communities in the southern part of Mizoram, right? Coming to the next dance form. Cheraw is a very old traditional dance of the Mizos. It is a bamboo dance that is associated with Mizoram. It is believed that the dance had already existed way back in the 1st century AD. In this dance form, men sitting face to face on the ground tap long pairs of horizontal and cross bamboo staves, open and close in rhythmic beats. And the girls in colorful Mizo costumes dance in and out between the beats of the bamboo. And this dance is now performed in almost all festive occasions. Coming to Chheih. Chheih is performed to the accompaniment of a song called as Chheih. In this dance form, people squat around in a circle on the floor and sing to the beat of a drum or a bamboo tube. And a pair of dancers stand in the middle and recite the song and dance along with the music. So this dance form is performed over a round of rice beer in the evening. It also signifies the completion of that day's work. So the right answer to our question would be option B, Mizoram. And we have taken this question because there is a reference to all these three dance forms in today's PIB article. Now let us take up the second question. Which of the given statements with respect to National Investment and Infrastructure Fund is or are correct? Number 1, the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund is India's first sovereign wealth fund. Number 2, it is a collaborative investment platform for international and Indian investors anchored by the Government of India. Number 3, NIIF master funds primarily invest in operating assets in core infrastructure sectors such as transport and energy. Why this question? We've taken up this question because there is a reference to National Investment and Infrastructure Fund in this article in the PIB today. Let us know more about NIIF as we discuss the answer. Say the government had set up a rupees 40,000 crore NIIF in the year 2015. This was set up as an investment vehicle for funding commercially viable greenfield, brownfield and stalled infrastructure projects. So, this is a fund manager that invests in infrastructure and related sectors in India. Is it India's first sovereign wealth fund? Yes. So, what exactly is the sovereign wealth fund? A sovereign wealth fund is a state-owned investment fund which comprises of money generated by the government and which is often derived from the country's surplus reserves. These sovereign wealth funds are created to provide a benefit for the country's economy as well as its citizens. So, statement number 1 becomes correct. Now, this NIIF invests across infrastructure and growth equity, and it is an investment platform for international as well as Indian investors, and this is anchored by the Government of India. So statement number 2 is also correct. Now before we discuss NIIF master funds, let me tell you that NIIF currently manages 3 different funds, each with its distinctive investment mandates. So which are these 3 funds? Number 1 is the master fund, then comes funds of funds, then comes Strategic Opportunities Fund. See, this master fund primarily invests in operating assets in core infrastructure sectors such as roads, ports, airports, power, etc. That is mostly transportation and energy. Now coming to Fund of Funds. Fund of Funds invest in funds that is managed by best-in-class fund managers that is focused on some of the most dynamic sectors in India. For example, climate infrastructure, affordable housing, infrastructure services and also other allied sectors. Now coming to the Strategic Opportunities Fund. The Strategic Opportunities Fund or the Strategic Investment Fund is registered as an alternative investment fund with the SEBI. The Strategic Opportunities Fund is a private equity fund which aims to build scalable businesses. The third statement in this question talks about the master funds, which mostly invest in operating assets in core infrastructure sectors, that is mostly transportation and energy. Therefore, this statement is also correct. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option C, 1, 2 and 3. Moving on to question number 3. Merapi volcano recently in news is located in option A, Philippines, option B, Japan, option C, Indonesia, option D, Turkey. Why this question? This article in the Indian Express newspaper today talks about the recent eruption in Indonesia's Merapi volcano, and hence we've taken this question. Now let us talk about Mount Merapi. See, this Mount Merapi is an active stratovolcano which is located on the border between the province of Central Java and Yogyakarta in Indonesia. This Merapi is the most active volcano in Indonesia and eruptions have been seen here regularly since 1548. See, Indonesia is located on the Pacific Ring of Fire and this has about 120 active volcanoes and Merapi is the most active among these. Earlier, this volcano had erupted twice in June 2020. And very recently, there was yet again a volcanic eruption here. So coming back to our question, the right answer to our question would be option C, Indonesia. Moving on to question number 4. Arrange the following from north to south. Number 1, Pangong So Lake. Number 2, Galwan Valley. Number 3, Gogra Post. What is the context? We've been reading about India-China border clash along the line of actual control. And according to this article in the Hindu newspaper today, China is looking at an acceptable solution with respect to the tensions along the LAC in the upcoming military level talks between India and China. And it is in this context that we've taken this question. See, following various military level talks between the two countries, disengagement has already begun at 3 points. That is the Pangong So, the Galwan Valley and the Gogra Post. Now let us take a look at this map here which has all these 3 points marked. See, the Galwan Valley is the narrow valley of the Galwan River and this valley is strategically located between Ladakh in the west and Aksai Chin to its east. Coming to Gogra Post. Gogra Post and Hot Springs are both patrolling points in Ladakh along the line of actual control. And Gogra Post is east of the point where Chang Chenmo River takes a hairpin bend coming to southeast from Galwan Valley and turning to southwest. It is close to Hot Springs. The next point is Pangong So. Pangong So here is located in the Union Territory of Ladakh. This is the world's highest saltwater lake. So if we were to mark these points from north to south on a map, it would be Galwan Valley to the north, next Gogra Post and then Pangong So. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option A, 2, 3, 1. Now let us take up a previous year question from Prelims paper 2020. If a particular plant species is placed under Schedule 6 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, what is the implication? Option A, a license is required to cultivate that plant. Option B, such a plant cannot be cultivated under any circumstances. Option C, it is a genetically modified crop plant. Option D, such a plant is invasive and harmful to the ecosystem. See, Wildlife Protection Act 1972 has 6 schedules. And if a particular plant species is placed under Schedule 6 of the Act, it cannot be cultivated by anybody except for those with a license granted by the Chief Wildlife Warden. So, a license is required to cultivate that plant. Therefore, the right answer would be option A. Here's a task for you for today. The task is to find out the names of the plants that are mentioned in 6th schedule of this Act. Type your answers in the comment section below. Moving on to the fact of the day for today, which is Montreux Convention. Why this topic? This article in the Indian Express newspaper talks about Turkey's stakes in the Russia-Ukraine war. And this very article has a mention of the Montreux Convention regarding the regime of straits, which is often known as the Montreux Convention. So what exactly is this Montreux Convention? This is an international agreement governing the Bosphorus and Dardanelles Strait in Turkey. This convention was signed on the 20th of July 1936 at the Montreux Palace in Switzerland, but it came into effect on the 9th of November 1936. So what this convention did was, it addressed the long-running question over who should control the strategically vital link between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. So this convention regulates the transit of naval ships and guarantees the free passage of civilian vessels in peacetime. It also restricts the passage of naval ships that do not belong to the Black Sea states. So how is it relevant now? Turkey decided to invoke the clauses of the Montreux Convention on naval passage through two of its strategic straits, which would allow it to limit the movement of Russian warships between Mediterranean Sea as well as the Black Sea. How? The convention gives power to Turkey to ban Russian war vessels from entering the Black Sea through the Bosphorus as well as Dardanelles Straits. These two straits, that is the Bosphorus Strait as well as the Dardanelles Strait, also known as the Turkish Straits or the Black Sea Straits, connect the Aegean Sea and the Black Sea via the Sea of Marmara. And it is the only passage through which Black Sea ports can access the Mediterranean Sea and beyond. So this ban would limit the movement of Russian warships through this passage. But there's a catch. Russia's location on the Black Sea complicates this entire situation. Why? Because there is an exception for the countries on the Black Sea, and Russia is one of the Black Sea littoral countries. And this allows the warships of Russia to return to their original bases through the passage, and Turkey cannot prevent it. So will Turkey deciding to invoke the clauses of Montreux Convention actually help? See, the extensive freedom that Russia enjoys because of its location on the Black Sea casts doubt on whether invoking this pact will have significant military consequence on the ongoing conflict or not. Also, Turkey is in a spot because it cannot abandon its ties with either Ukraine or Russia. That is all for today. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching and keep learning.